Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so here's the deal. It's being reported that the Brooklyn Nets are having trouble trading Kevin Durant because teams don't want to help facilitate him. And there's two different things that are being provided in terms of scenarios for us to buy into in regards to that. One is behind the scenes, all of the owners have come together and decided that they don't want to facilitate moving a 4-year contract um, in this situation where a player wants out of it after signing it. You know, they don't want to set that precedent. So that's an understandable point of view. Um, and the other is basically, what I'm looking at is they don't want to facilitate KD to any other team because everybody's trying to bid for him themselves. So why am I gonna help you get him if I'm trying to get him? No, you help me get him. Like that's how that could also be going. So two very conflicting points of views, and I don't know what's really going on behind the scenes. So pick one, believe whatever you want. I think at the end of the day, nobody can move because of the Rudy Gobert trade. Same thing I've been telling you is what I think is going on. I don't think it's as deep as being reported right now as teams don't want to help each other facilitate. Pick your poison. Do they want to blackball KD or do they want to all try to get him themselves? I don't know. What I can tell you though is KD is somebody you should want. So if you're trying to blackball him, you're missing out on having an opportunity at a championship, each and every one of you. And plus, I can't see 30 teams coming together thinking that makes sense because in my mind, the collective bargaining negotiations will be taking place very soon. So if teams, owners, and players go through this battle in regards to this particular kind of transaction, they'll probably be burning bridges that they'll need to cross later on due to circumstances that won't even be possible at that time. You understand what I'm saying? That's like, we're beefing over the last opportunity to use AOL or something. Like the internet's going to change tomorrow. Like, why are we still beefing over who's going to use AOL? Let's just wait till tomorrow and the new stuff comes out and we'll have high speed and move forward. So it's kind of, to me, it's just similar to something like that. It's like just wait this out, you guys. Let's not beef over something like this when we know once they start negotiating, they probably won't even be 4-year contracts after this. It won't even be a situation where teams are probably signing players. Players are going to probably sign, as I said, with the NBA through the Players Association, and then will be assigned teams or something like that. They're going to have to switch it up because the way it's going right now is what I see is players are trying to get out of situations that aren't necessarily winnable situations in their eyes. And they want to get into situations like KD did with the Warriors, like LeBron James with the Heat, to where they can win. Simple input. They want to be in situations where they can win. They only have at the most, even superstars, at the most, probably like 20 years to play. And that's if they take absolute care of themselves and don't have any really catastrophic injuries. So you got to understand, guys like James Harden looking at the clock and he's saying, I don't have time to wait to see what's going to happen with Brooklyn. I got to try to get into a situation where I can win right now. I can't stay. A guy like Anthony Davis, I don't have 3 and 4 years to figure out if Zion's going to turn into that guy. I need to get out of the situation, get to LA and win a championship, And KD's kind of saying the same thing. I don't have time to figure out if the situation with the Nets is going to be what I want it to be. They're not making the moves I want them to make. I have my reasons. I need to get out now. Not go back and let the 2 years come off the contract or none of that. No, I need to get into a situation where I'm winning now because every season matters. Now, to KD, I would say that's the problem with signing a 4-year deal. But to me, he would say, well, I got to lock up too. I'll deal with the problem as it comes, and now it's here and we're dealing with it. So that's really how that looks to me. And look, at the end of the day, I say, for those who are telling these players they got to fulfill their contracts, I respect commitment and fulfilling it. But there's two sides to every coin. And the problem that we have to always take into account is the science, the very intricate science of cap management and structure. Not everybody's good at it. Let's just be honest, man. Not every team is very good at it. And with the limited amount of times these guys have to play basketball, 15 years, 10 years, 7 years, 20 years, whatever it is, They don't have time to sit in situations where the cap isn't being managed properly, and due to that, they're unable to win. Even if the cap is being managed properly, it can still go left with even more variables because of injuries, because of bad draft picks, because of guys who just don't pan out, things of that nature. There are too many avenues to fail that players have no control over. They have to find themselves in situations that look as good as possible so that their efforts don't be wasted in the limited amount of time they have to play in their careers. And so I want that side of things to be taken into account much more, because we tend to be concerned about the interests of the owners, and I respect their interests because they keep my teams going, and I love the fact that I've been able to root for my Lakers my entire life. So it ain't like I don't want the owners to succeed. But at the same time, it's like the players have a small amount of time. They're not on the same timelines. And so to say the players are obligated to keep the interests of the owners is neglecting the timeline of the players in this particular case. And I think it's deliberate by the powers that be because they have their own interests wrapped up with the owners. In a lot of these cases, I feel. Your various outlets, they tend to be funded by the same people who are the owners themselves in these cases. So, of course, they're going to tell you that the players need to be honoring their side of things. And no, they're not going to bring up the correlation between players wanting to leave and the mistakes that are being made. This is just what it is. If everybody was run perfectly and the cap was structured properly in every situation, if it were put in place so that everybody somehow could always be good enough to win, then you could say, okay, that guy's leaving a situation where he can win and he doesn't want to be there and he's just being insubordinate and that's it. But no, in a world where Rudy Gobert gets traded for 5 picks and a bunch of good contracts, affordable, movable, and easy to move around contracts, no, I can't be certain that every player has an equal situation in regards to having an opportunity to win. Just because they've made a mistake of committing to an organization that would do something like that does not mean that they should be obligated to stay in that situation and let it play out as the mistake does what it does. They don't have the time for that. None of these players are immortal in their careers. I'm sorry. If you could tell me that a guy could play for 70 years, then I'd be like, okay, you got to spend them 4 there, man. Just wait that out. You got 60-something more years to play, homie. So these 4, you must be stuck in this bad situation, make it work. But no, when a guy only has 20, I can count. He ain't got that many, man. He doesn't have 4 out of 20. And for a guy like KD, how many more years does he have? 4, probably. This is the rest of his career on this contract. No, I'm sorry. Just because he signed that contract in a situation where he was mistaken, once he realized he made a mistake, it's time to move on. That contract should not be a slave-binding situation. Not in the presence of sports, when you're asking people to run around and potentially get hurt. No. I'm sorry, I'm not rolling with that. If he wants to not honor that contract, the right thing to do, of course, is to give back the money, right? If you want to be completely fair. But even more so, understanding that the NBA wants him to stay in the NBA. See, that's the bigger picture. Nobody wants him to retire. So there should be some honor to that as well. Okay? Because what you're going to do is if he decides that he doesn't want to play, you're going to try to force him into retirement. And that robs us of the greatness of his play. Which then puts precedent over the business of basketball over art. And that is when we've lost ourselves. That, in my opinion, is when you betray what Naismith was actually thinking when he made the game. And the evolution of the art itself that doesn't have anything to do with the NBA. That's when you betray that. When you start thinking about the interests of the league over the interest of being able to witness the greatness of one of the greatest players to ever play the game. See, I value the art of the game. I value the sport. I didn't grow up valuing the things that were going on behind the scenes. I grew up being able to watch Shaq and Kobe, and the business of basketball destroyed my dreams in regards to that as a child. So I'm sensitive to that to a degree. I look at a friend of mine whose son grew up in the Warriors world. He's about probably 8 years old right now. He doesn't know a world where the Warriors don't have Steph Curry. Doesn't know that world. That's a beautiful thing, and I hope it stays that way so that he can have the experience I had with Kobe, that Dallas had with Dirk, that San Antonio had with Timmy. But as long as things are like this, where players are trying to scurry out of bad situations because they have a limited amount of time, and they're being guilt tripped into staying in those situations when they really, really probably shouldn't be, based on that, yeah, we're going to be robbed of a lot of great basketball play. So that's what I think, man. There's no way to make things perfect, I'd imagine. You can't make everybody say, okay, you cannot make that bad move. You're not going to do that, because of the interests of each and every individual team, and the fact that those situations equate to money. And if someone could take advantage of you financially in a situation, that's a business, that's a win, and that's what everybody's there for. But unfortunately, the business of basketball should never take precedence over the art itself. And that's where the NBA has officially gotten lost as of this summer. I don't know if it ever has before, but as of right now, because of the business of basketball, the art is going to be compromised dramatically. So you failed this, NBA. What can I say? You failed this. And then you want to promote the idea that these players should want to stay in these situations. No, they should not want to stay in those situations. Not with the one body they have, with the one time they have to use the talent that they have at this level. They should not stay in situations where the team is incomplete because I can't make this transaction, because they can't make this transaction, because this guy wants to leave and can't move. Nah. Fix your system, NBA. Stop focusing on the insubordination of the players and start focusing on fixing the system to meet the needs of the modern day player. You've created these monsters. Now manage them properly. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.